He did it once, and the world laughed at him. A man sitting in a shrine in Ghana looked into the camera and said, "I have put a curse on Lionel Messi." Messi, with 18 World Cup goals, the man who broke the all-time record 6 days ago. The greatest player who ever lived. He will not score any more in this World Cup, he said. Not one more goal. Finished? Done. But wait. This man said something like this before. He said, "I am working on Harry Kane." And Kane stood 6 yards from an open goal and sent it into the stands. And at that moment, everyone went silent. Because Nana Kwaku Bonsam said it once, and it happened. Now he has targeted Messi. And the only question I have is this. Are you still laughing? So who is this man? Why are we taking him seriously? Why are millions of people watching this clip? Because Nana Kwaku Bonsam is not just anybody. He is Ghana's most famous witch doctor. He runs 3 shrines in Accra. He has lived in New York, Amsterdam, Berlin, and Italy. The New York Times has written about him twice. He calls himself the Great Authentic Man. And this is not his first World Cup. Let us go back to 2014. Brazil World Cup. Ghana are about to play Portugal. And Bonsam looks into the camera and says, "I am working on Cristiano Ronaldo. I am going to stop him." People laughed then too. And then Ronaldo showed up to that match with his knee heavily strapped, visibly struggling. Portugal won, but Ronaldo was nowhere near himself. And Bonsam stood up and said, "I did that." Now fast forward to 2026. He targeted Kane. Kane missed an open goal. And now, Messi. And this man is not just limited to football. He has a website. He tours the world. He gives spiritual consultations on business, love, and money. His clients come not just from Ghana, but from America, Europe, and Asia. And they all say the same thing. This man works. Now, whether you believe that or not, in 2014 he targeted Ronaldo. In 2026 he targeted Kane. And both of them failed to deliver when it mattered most. And now Messi. Now think about this. Why did Bonsam choose Messi after Kane? Because Argentina are playing Cape Verde. And Messi looks completely unstoppable in this tournament. 18 goals. 5 goals in 2 matches. The man who missed a penalty and broke the record in the same game. A normal witch doctor would not target Messi, because this is close to impossible. But Bonsam is not a normal witch doctor. And he is saying he will not score any more in this World Cup. Not one more goal. And he is saying this after Kane. After stopping Kane. Is this coincidence? Is this confidence? Or does this man actually know something? But let us stop for a second. Who is Cape Verde? Because to understand this match, you need to understand the opponent. Cape Verde is a small island nation off the coast of Africa. Population only 500,000. They had never qualified for a World Cup in their football history until this tournament. They are playing in their first ever World Cup, and in their first match they lost 2-1 to Japan. On paper, this is an easy match for Argentina. But here is exactly where Bonsam comes in. Because Cape Verde are a weak opponent, and if Messi still does not score, it becomes very hard to explain. Not fitness, not the opponent's defense, just no goal. And then everyone will look at Bonsam. Now let us take a step back and understand how deep the roots of spirituality and witchcraft go in football. Because this is not just about Bonsam. Juju has been part of African football for decades. At the 1990 World Cup, Cameroon beat England. After the match, Cameroonian players admitted they had buried objects placed by their witch doctors on the pitch. At the 2010 World Cup, Ghana's run to the quarterfinals was explained in the Ghanaian press with contributions from the country's spiritual practitioners. The Nigerian national team worked with official witch doctors for years. This is not a myth. This is a real part of African football. And Bonsam is the most visible face of that tradition. And we need to talk about why Bonsam keeps going viral. Because social media loves these kinds of stories. Stories with no definitive answer. Stories that make you talk whether you believe or not. After the Kane match, Bonsam was trending on Twitter. YouTube searches for Witch Doctor Kane curse returned millions of results. People are making videos. People are doing analysis. People are arguing. And now the Messi announcement has dropped. And everything has started again. Because this time the target is bigger. This time the target is Messi. And think about what that actually means. Kane is one of the best strikers in the world. But Messi is different. Messi is not just a footballer. Messi is a religion. There are people in Argentina who named their children after him. There are people who have his face tattooed on their body. There are people who genuinely believe he is sent from somewhere above to play football. And Bonsam looked at all of that, looked at 18 World Cup goals, looked at the greatest player who ever lived, and said, I am going to stop him. That is either the most delusional thing anyone has ever said, or the most confident. And after what happened to Kane, nobody is sure which one it is anymore. The internet is waiting for the next move. After the Cape Verde match, either they will say Bonsam was right, or they will say Messi broke the spell. Either way, everyone will be talking. And either way, Bonsam wins, because the conversation is already happening, because you are already watching this video, because somewhere in the world right now, millions of people are asking the same question. Can a man in a shrine in Ghana stop Lionel Messi? Here is where we stand. A man is sitting in a shrine, and he has targeted the greatest player in the world. Not a struggling striker, not a player having a bad tournament. The man with 18 World Cup goals. The man who broke a record that stood for 12 years. The man who missed a penalty and then scored twice in the same match. And Bonsam said, none of that matters. He will not score again. Now I want you to think about the career of Lionel Messi for a moment. 2006, his first World Cup. He was 18 years old. Full of promise, full of talent, but Argentina went out early. 2010, he did not score a single goal. The tournament passed him by. 2014, he carried Argentina to the final, almost single-handedly, and then lost. 2018, Croatia destroyed them 3-0 in the group stage. Everyone said Messi was finished at World Cups. 2022, he finally lifted the trophy. And now 2026. 38 years old, going on 39. 18 goals. Unstoppable. And a witch doctor from Ghana says it ends here. Against Cape Verde, a nation of 500,000 people playing their first ever World Cup. If Messi does not score in that match, the story becomes bigger than football. It stops being about tactics and preparation and fitness. It becomes about something nobody can explain. Something that sits outside the boundaries of what we think is possible. But here's what makes this even more fascinating. Messi has been in impossible situations before. 2014 final, extra time, one kick away from the greatest moment of his life. And he could not do it. 2016 Copa America final, penalty shootout. He missed, walked off the pitch and retired from international football, and then came back, because Messi always comes back. This man has faced more pressure than any footballer in history. Entire nations on his shoulders. Every tournament the same question. Can Messi finally do it for Argentina? And every time the weight of that question seemed too heavy, he found a way to carry it anyway. So when Bonsam says he has cursed Messi, what he is really saying is, I can put something in Messi's mind that has never been there before. I can make him doubt himself. I can make the greatest player who ever lived feel something he does not know how to handle. And maybe that is the real power of the curse. Not the rituals, not the shrine, not the oils and the herbs and the invocations, but the idea itself, the thought that sits in the back of your mind when you step onto the pitch. What if it is real? What if tonight is the night it stops? Because football is played in the mind as much as it is played on the grass. And Bonsam knows that. He has been doing this for decades. He knows that the most powerful weapon in football is not pace or technique or finishing, it is doubt. And now the whole world is asking, does Messi doubt himself tonight? And that is the thing about this tournament. Messi broke a record that nobody thought would ever be broken. Ronaldo scored in 6 different World Cups at 41 years old. Kane missed an open goal from 6 yards after a witch doctor said he would. This tournament is producing things that feel impossible. And now, Bonsam has made his boldest claim yet. You do not have to believe in juju. You do not have to believe in curses or shrines or spiritual powers. But you cannot look at what happened to Kane and tell me you are completely sure it means nothing. Because nobody could explain that miss. Not the coaches, not the analysts, not Kane himself. He just missed it. And Bonsam said he would make it happen. And it happened. So now Messi steps onto that pitch against Cape Verde. 38 years old, 18 World Cup goals, the greatest player who ever lived. And somewhere in Ghana, a man who stopped Kane, a man who claims he stopped Ronaldo in 2014, is sitting in his shrine, performing his rituals, and pointing at Messi. The whole world will be watching that match, not just for the football, not just for the goals, but for the answer to the question that nobody can stop thinking about. Can the Devil of Wednesday stop the greatest player who ever lived? We are about to find out. Argentina are playing Cape Verde. Messi is stepping onto that pitch. And in a shrine in Ghana, Nana Kwaku Bonsam, the Devil of Wednesday, is waiting. That is all.